Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive all about getting you ready to snag that knitter job.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
We've got a whole bunch of info from RoleCatcher, like their
Hmm.
career guide and their interview guide, and we'll even touch on how their AI can help you tailor those interview
Wait,
answers.
that's cool.
So let's start with like the basics.
Okay.
What does a knitter even do all day?
Well,
Okay.
you can think of it kind of like transforming yarn into these like beautiful creations, like
Yeah.
sweaters, scarves, blankets, all that.
Okay.
They're masters of all these different needles and techniques,
Uh-huh.
taking just like a simple ball of yarn and turning it into something really amazing.
That sounds so hands-on and creative.
It is.
And the RoleCatcher guide even mentions that this career can be therapeutic and flexible.
Absolutely.
Not bad perks at all.
Nope.
But to really land that perfect knitting gig,
Yeah,
you've got to ace that interview.
for sure.
And that's where this interview prep from RoleCatcher really shines. They have all these actual questions that employers have asked.
They do.
So you're not going to be caught off guard.
You'll be ready for anything.
It's like a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Exactly.
So are we ready to dive into some of these real deal interview questions?
Let's do it.
I think our listeners are definitely eager to get started.
I'm sure they are.
So what's the first question?
All right, how about this one? What sparked your interest in knitting?
Ooh, that's a really good one to start with.
Yeah,
It's all about like showing that passion, and telling your knitting origin story.
exactly.
What do you think the interviewer is really looking for here?
Well, I think they really want to see that enthusiasm you have
Mm-hmm.
and understand what drives your creativity.
Yeah.
Did you learn from a grandparent?
Oh.
Or were you just like mesmerized by some complex cable knit sweater?
Yeah.
Or maybe you just stumbled upon some YouTube tutorial and were instantly hooked.
I think the key is to be genuine,
Totally.
and let that love for knitting shine through.
Yeah, it's a chance to make that like personal connection.
Exactly.
The RoleCatcher guide actually has some really fascinating insights
Okay.
about all the different paths people take into knitting.
Oh, interesting.
Some are drawn to like the more traditional aspects,
Mm-hmm.
while others are excited by all the modern innovations in yarn and techniques.
So you could even weave in some of those broader trends into your answer.
Absolutely. It shows you're thinking about knitting on like a deeper level.
I'm curious what kind of follow-up questions might come from this.
Well, they might ask about a specific project that you're particularly proud of.
Oh, okay.
Or they might delve into what you find most challenging and rewarding about knitting.
Gotcha. So it's all about getting a sense of your dedication and experience.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've shared your knitting journey.
Uh-huh.
What's next?
How about this? What are your favorite types of knitting projects to work on and why?
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's your chance to like geek out a little, and showcase your knowledge and preferences.
And remember, it's not just about listing your favorite things.
Yeah.
It's about explaining why you're drawn to them.
I see.
It's a chance to really show off that technical understanding
Yeah.
and your passion for the craft.
So like if someone loves working with intricate lace patterns, they could talk about like the precision and attention to detail that's required.
Exactly. Or if they're all about those chunky knits and oversized sweaters,
Yeah.
they could talk about like the satisfaction of seeing a project come together so quickly.
It's about connecting those preferences to specific techniques and skills.
Exactly.
And I bet this is where the RoleCatcher AI could really help tailor your answer.
You got it.
How so?
By analyzing the job description, the AI can highlight keywords related to specific knitting styles or techniques.
Oh, wow.
So that makes sure that your answer aligns with what the employer is looking for.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep this momentum going.
Okay.
What's the next interview challenge?
Let's dive into problem solving with this one. Describe a time you encountered a challenge in a knitting project and how you overcame it.
Okay, now we're getting into like the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
This question is all about showcasing your resourcefulness and ability to think on your feet.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see how you handle those like inevitable knitting hiccups.
So like what kind of things should people be thinking about here?
Well, like, did you have to like rip back rows and start again?
Oh, yeah.
Did you consult online forums or reach out to fellow knitters for advice?
Uh-huh.
Maybe you even got creative and modified the pattern to fix a mistake.
So it's all about demonstrating your resilience and your problem-solving skills.
And don't forget to highlight what you learned from the experience.
No, that's a good point.
Did it make you a more careful knitter,
Yeah.
a more resourceful problem solver, or maybe it sparked a new passion for a particular technique?
It's about turning those knitting challenges into valuable learning experiences.
Exactly. And speaking of learning, the career guide actually mentions how important it is for knitters to stay up to date with the latest trends and techniques.
Yeah, for sure.
Always learning.
You could even tie that back into the question,
Right.
showing how your problem-solving skills help you adapt to new challenges in the ever-evolving world of knitting.
Now you're thinking strategically.
All right, are you ready for another question?
Hit me.
Okay, that puts your knitting expertise in the spotlight.
How about this one? Tell me about a knitting project that you're particularly proud of.
Ooh, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's your chance to really showcase your skills, your creativity, and all those unique things that make you stand out as a knitter.
Exactly. And remember, it doesn't have to be the most complex or intricate project. It's
Yeah.
about choosing a project that really represents your passion
Uh-huh.
and your strengths as a knitter.
So if someone's known for their amazing color work, they
Yeah.
could talk about a vibrant sweater they designed.
Exactly. Or if they're all about intricate cable patterns, they could showcase a beautifully textured scarf they created.
It's all about highlighting those skills and what makes you unique as a knitter. I'm curious what kind of follow-up questions might come from this one.
Well, they might ask about the challenges you faced during the project, the techniques you used, or even the inspiration behind your design.
It's like delving deeper into that knitting journey.
It's exactly.
I feel like RoleCatcher's AI could come in handy again here.
Absolutely.
How so?
The AI can analyze that job description and identify keywords related to specific skills or project types.
Okay.
This will help you tailor your answer to highlight the aspects of your project that are most relevant to the employer.
It's all about connecting the dots between your passion and the job requirements.
Exactly.
Welcome back to your personalized deep dive into acing that knitter job interview.
Back for more.
We're ready to untangle more interview questions.
Yep.
What interview gems do you have for us?
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about teamwork.
Okay.
How about this? Describe a time when you collaborated with others on a knitting project.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
That's so important for so many jobs, even in the creative world of knitting.
Absolutely. The interviewer wants to know that you can work effectively with others,
Right.
communicate clearly, and contribute to a shared vision.
What kind of experiences would be good to highlight here?
Think about times when you've worked on group projects
Cool.
or participated in knitting circles or even collaborated online with other knitters.
Yeah.
Maybe you helped organize a yarn bomb or contributed to a charity knitting project, or maybe you even just offered advice and support to a fellow knitter struggling with a pattern.
It's all about being a team player.
Yeah.
That you value collaboration and you can contribute your unique skills to a group effort.
Exactly. And speaking of collaboration, the career guide actually mentions how the knitting industry often involves working closely with designers, yarn suppliers, and retailers.
Oh, that's a good point. Highlighting those collaborative experiences just shows that you understand the bigger picture of the knitting world.
Now you're thinking like a pro.
Okay, are you ready for another question?
Hit me.
That digs a little deeper.
How about this one? What are your strengths and weaknesses as a knitter?
Ooh, the classic strengths and weaknesses question.
It can be a little tricky,
It can.
but it's all about being honest and showing that self-awareness.
So it's not about bragging
Nope.
or being overly critical of yourself?
No, it's about finding that balance.
Right.
And showing that you're always striving to grow as a knitter.
Exactly.
So when you're discussing your strengths,
Uh-huh.
be specific and give examples.
Okay.
Maybe you're incredibly fast at knitting.
Oh, yeah.
Or you have a knack for intricate cables. Or you're a whiz at troubleshooting tricky patterns.
Yeah.
Whatever your strengths are, just back them up with real-life experiences.
And when it comes to weaknesses, how should people talk about those?
Well, frame them in a positive light. Maybe you're still developing your colorwork skills. Or you tend to be a perfectionist, which can slow you down.
Yeah.
Or you're just eager to learn more about a specific technique.
The key is to show that you're aware of those areas for improvement and that you're actively working to address them.
It's about turning those weaknesses into opportunities for growth.
Exactly. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI could be incredibly helpful with this question.
How so?
Well, their interview practice feature lets you record your answer
Okay.
and get AI-powered feedback,
Oh, that's cool.
which helps you identify areas for improvement and refine your delivery.
It's like having a virtual interview coach.
Exactly.
Okay, let's switch gears again
Okay.
and talk about something that can be a bit daunting for a lot of job seekers.
Like that?
Negotiation.
Ah, yes, negotiation.
Yeah, it's not always easy,
Can be tough.
but it's such an important skill to have,
Definitely.
especially when it comes to salary and benefits.
Right. The interviewer might even ask something like, yeah, are you comfortable negotiating salary and benefits?
Okay.
Or like, how would you approach a salary negotiation?
What's the best way to, tackle those kinds of questions?
Well, first, it's really important to do your research.
Yeah.
You got to understand the market value for the role you're applying for and have a clear idea of your own worth.
Right.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide can be a great resource for this.
And don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
Highlight your skills, your experience, and what makes you such a valuable asset to their team.
Negotiation is a two-way street.
Okay.
Be prepared to discuss your expectations clearly and respectfully, and be open to listening to their perspective as well.
It's about finding that mutually beneficial agreement.
Exactly. And you know what?
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can also lend a hand here.
Okay. Yeah.
Their CV tailoring feature analyzes the job description and suggests ways to highlight your most relevant skills and experience.
Which strengthens your position during those salary negotiations.
It's like having a secret weapon in your negotiation toolkit.
Totally.
So what else should our listener keep in mind as we move further along in the interview?
Well, as we're approaching the end of a typical interview, you'll often be given the opportunity to ask questions. This is your chance to gather information.
Okay.
Clarify any doubts, and just demonstrate your genuine interest in the role and the company.
So it's not just about them interviewing you.
Yep.
It's also about you interviewing them.
Exactly. And remember, thoughtful questions show that you've done your homework and that you're truly engaged in the conversation.
What are some, good questions to have in your back pocket?
Well, you could ask about the company's culture, their approach to design and innovation in knitting, the opportunities for professional development, or even the specific projects you might be working on.
Those are really great examples.
Yeah.
It shows that you're not just looking for any job.
Yep.
You're looking for the right fit.
And remember, avoid asking questions that can be easily answered by a quick Google search.
Right.
Focus on questions that demonstrate your thoughtfulness and genuine curiosity about the role and the company.
This is really shaping up to be like a master class in interview prep.
I think so.
Okay. Before we wrap up part 2,
All right.
let's squeeze in one more question.
Okay, shoot.
What do you have for us?
Let's get a little philosophical with this one. Where do you see the future of knitting heading, and how do you see yourself fitting into that future?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
I like that one.
It's showing that you're not just passionate about knitting today.
Right.
You're thinking about the big picture and how the industry's evolving.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you're engaged in that wider knitting community.
Yeah.
That you're aware of trends and innovations, and that you have a vision for your own growth within the field.
What are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
Well, first, do your research. The Career Guide highlights some really exciting trends in knitting,
Okay, like what?
like sustainability, technology integration, and the growing interest in handcrafted goods.
So you could talk about how you see yourself incorporating sustainable practices into your work, exploring new technologies like 3D knitting,
Yeah.
or even using your skills to teach and inspire the next generation of knitters.
It's about connecting your passion to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And showing that you're ready to embrace the future of knitting.
And I bet this is where RoleCatcher's AI can help you really shine.
How so?
Well, AI can analyze that job description and identify keywords related to the company's vision for the future of knitting.
Right.
This will help you tailor your answer to align with their specific goals and aspirations.
Exactly.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for your knitting career.
It is.
I think our listener is well on their way to crafting those perfect interview responses.
I agree.
Okay, we've covered so much ground in part 2,
We have.
but we're not quite finished yet.
Not yet.
In part 3, we'll wrap up with some final tips, inspiring advice, and a look at what lies beyond the interview.
Yeah, that will be fun.
So stay tuned, knitters. We'll be back soon with the final chapter of your personalized interview prep journey. All right, welcome back for the final part of our knitter interview deep dive.
It's been fun.
I think our listeners so ready for their interview now.
I think so too.
But before we completely wrap things up,
Uh-huh.
let's touch on a few final points.
Okay.
They can make a big difference, in your interview experience.
Yeah.
First impressions matter.
Always.
Even if the company culture is casual, it's always a good idea to dress professionally for your interview.
I agree.
It shows that you respect the opportunity
Right.
and that you're serious about your career.
And along with that, we've talked a lot about like specific questions and how to answer them.
Yeah.
But don't forget about the overall like energy you bring to the interview.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Enthusiasm goes a long way.
It does.
Let your passion for knitting shine through.
Yeah.
Smile, make eye contact, and be genuinely present.
It's about showing them that you're not just skilled. You're genuinely excited about the opportunity.
Yes, exactly.
Now, we've talked about RoleCatcher's AI a lot throughout this whole deep dive.
We have.
But can you remind us how their tools can help, like, beyond just prepping for questions?
Yes, of course.
Like, what else can they do?
Well, one of the things I find super helpful is their CV and resume tailoring feature.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It analyzes the job description and suggests ways to highlight your most relevant skills and experience.
It's like having a personal editor
Right?
to help you present yourself in the best way possible.
And don't forget their interview practice feature,
Oh, yeah.
where you can record your answers to common interview questions
Uh-huh.
and get AI-powered feedback.
I love that.
Yeah, it helps you identify areas for improvement and refine your delivery.
Okay, so we prepped for questions. We polished our CVs.
Yep. Yeah.
We practiced our delivery.
We did it all.
What's the final piece of the puzzle?
The follow-up.
Oh, yeah, the follow-up.
After your interview, make sure you send a thank you note to the interviewer.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's a simple gesture, but it can go a long way.
Yeah.
It reinforces your interest and it leaves a lasting impression.
It shows that you're thoughtful and appreciative.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this whole deep dive,
Yeah.
what's one final thought you want to leave our listener with?
Remember that as you embark on this exciting knitting career journey, it's not just about finding a job, it's about finding the right fit.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, a place where your skills and your passion can truly thrive.
I love that. And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way
They are.
with their guides and their AI-powered tools.
So go forth and knit your way to success.
We'll be cheering you on.
Wouldn't the sidelines?
And hey, maybe one day we'll be featuring your amazing knitting creations
Oh, that would be awesome.
on a future deep dive.
Can't wait.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.